Set.
Good afternoon, everyone. Earlier today, June 2nd, at 7:38 a.m., the Upton police received a call requesting a welfare check for Dawn Armstrong, 37 years of age, at 31 Elm Street in the town of Upton. The request had been made by a co-worker after Dawn had failed to come to work Saturday and again this morning. The Upton police immediately responded to the residence, a single-family home, and they found it to be secure. Officers made a forced entry through a side door, where they discovered the lifeless bodies of a male and a female. The male is identified as Thomas Lizotte, 42 years of age, from the town of Millville. The female, for whom the welfare check was requested, is Dawn Armstrong. Upton police immediately summoned emergency medical services, who responded and made the official determination of death. Both parties had suffered apparent stab wounds. The Upton police secured the residence as a crime scene and notified the state police detectives assigned to the Worcester County District Attorney's Office. State police also immediately responded, responding with the State Police Crime Scene Services Section, 3 state police chemists, and a trooper assigned to the State Police Barracks in Millbury. The investigation of this tragedy continues. At this time, the scene is being processed and detectives are conducting numerous interviews. Both decedents were removed to the Worcester office of the Chief Medical Examiner for post-mortem examination. Notification of next of kin has been made to both families. While this investigation is in its preliminary stages, it appears that these deaths are a result of a murder-suicide, with Thomas Lizotte acting as the aggressor. It is important to reassure the community that this appears to be an isolated tragedy and there is no increased reason for or concern or cause for alarm. It is believed that Dawn Armstrong and Thomas Lizotte were involved in a domestic relationship. Dawn Armstrong does not have any children. She is the sole resident of 31 Elm Street, Upton, Mass. And according to the Upton police, there is no past history of complaints, trouble, requests for services at that address. Are there any questions?
Have you been able to determine, even though there were no calls for assistance, whether or not there were signs of trouble between the two deceased?
I turn to the chief on that.
No, we haven't received any previous reports of any trouble, domestic issues between these two parties.
Chief, was Dawn Armstrong a Upton native or a long-time resident, or was she from Upton?
She's been associated with the town for some time. I don't know where she was residing before Upton.
As you say, you're at the preliminary stage, but is there a fairly obvious sign of how this unfolded in the house, or what sort of condition the area was in?
I can't. We're in the preliminary stages of the investigation. I can't comment on that. I can tell you this: there were apparent stab wounds, and what is apparent to the state police investigators and the Upton police is that this was a murder-suicide, and that Thomas Lizotte was the aggressor.
Do you know when this occurred? What day she would have been seen since Saturday?
We're waiting to hear back from the Office of the Medical Examiner at this point. I can't comment on that at this time.
How many times were the person stabbed and whereabouts on the body?
Dawn Armstrong, I can tell you, was stabbed multiple times. Other than that, I can't go into it any further until we hear the report back from the Medical Examiner's Office.
What about Thomas?
I can't get into that at this point.
Did they live together?
They had a relationship. Chief, if you want to elaborate on that.
It appears they did live together off and on over some time.
Where did Dawn Armstrong work?
She worked for McIntyre Loom Company in Hopkinton.
McIntyre what?
Loom.
Chief, do you know what she did there?
I do not know what her responsibilities were there.
Do you know what he did for a living?
No, I do not.
Do you know if he had children?
I'm not aware that he had any children.
Where were the bodies found? What part of the house?
I can't get into that. Once again, that's part of the investigation. When the process gets a little bit further, we'll be able to comment on that, but we can't talk to that specifically at this time.
Any notes or any correspondence or anything?
Nothing with regards to the incident of the attack itself. There are some other parts to this, but I really can't get into that at this time in the investigation. No threats.
Were either party married
We just have that they were in a relationship,
to each other? I mean,
a relationship with each other.
The other resident listed in the house, Dennis Armstrong, was that husband, ex-husband?
Dennis Armstrong does not live in the residence at this time. I'm not sure if he is an ex-husband or what their status, marital status is.
Is there any indication at this point that they had been fighting or arguing? Did neighbors, report hearing loud?
As the district attorney stated, there were no previous reports.
No calls to the house, as you said.
That's correct.
no wood fence stone? No wood fence stone?